My name is Dosha Newell, and I am the great-grandniece of Edward Ladson, also known as Uncle Eddie. Today is August 28th, 2023, and I'm conducting this oral history interview with the Preservation Society's Black Businesses of Charleston Oral History Project.
My name is Commissioner Ronald Ladson. I'm the grand nephew of Mr. Edward Ladson.
My name is Tony Ladson, the grandnephew of Mr. Eddie Ladson.
And my name is Annie Backman. I'm the grandniece of Mr. Eddie Ladson.
All right, well, let's start by talking about Mr. Edward Ladson's background. What do you know about his upbringing?
Okay, during his upbringing, he was an ambitious little guy. Like myself, he tried to do everything that he did methodically. He had a lot of passion and care. He was the youngest of four siblings. He had a severe head injury when he was a child, and I think that what kind of compelled him to be so generous in what he was doing.
Okay, and how did he get started in the restaurant business?
So Ladson got started with this business by being the head manager at the Charleston Yacht Club. After being there for many years of perfecting the social club events, he started his own business with the help of some prominent business owners such as Mayor Riley, Ravenel, and some others. You want to add to it?
Yes, the place where he started working at the Carolina Yacht Club, they were the one that gave him the boost and encouragement and funded him to get started.
Okay. And when and where did the Ladson House restaurant open?
It opened around 1966 and it closed around the mid-90s.
Okay. And the neighborhood surrounding the business, what was this like at the time?
During the business aspects, I don't know if most people would know it, but it was they call it Back to Green, which was a project, a public housing area.
Mhm.
So they was very supportive of his business, and a lot of business owners, politicians, preachers, the hospital, the whole community supported the Ladson House. But our main support was basically from the neighborhood throughout the area when I took.
Nah, that's good.
Okay. And can you tell me a bit about the cuisine or the type of food that they had at the Ladson House?
Yes, it was very classic Southern cuisine. His favorite was the recipe was the fried chicken, the most popular dish.
Okay.
Yeah, they had very
Seafood.
delicious food, seafood. One of the best was the fried chicken. I remember on weekends when my mom would go out, she wasn't a club type person, but if she would go out just to hang out for a little while, I would like go downtown just to ride up. But when she would come home, she would bring us some seafood, chicken, whatever. The food was delicious. They catered to all different type of events throughout Charleston, wedding, everything, social events, political events, whatever that said, past them, that's else. We had a lot of caterers.
Okay. And who were some of the most notable people or customers that dined at the Ladson House?
Well, he had all kinds of walks of life of people that come to the Ladson House. A politician, I remember seeing Jim Clyburn, Robert Ford, Mayor Raleigh. He just catered to some of every walks of life people because I used to work there.
Awesome. And how about the events? What type of events did they host?
They hosted a lot of weddings, a lot of weddings, and a lot of parties,
Social parties,
social parties.
political events,
Yes.
conferences, teachers would have the gathering. You would hear on the radio every weekend that some type of social function is going on at the Ladson House. People would come, from all over. Anyone that would come to town, they would go to the Ladson House. It was a 5-star restaurant, and the food was delicious.
I need to piggyback on some of the people that dined there. You had President Jimmy Carter. You had a lot of Martin Luther King followers. You also had Reverend Jesse Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and you also had James Bonner came there at one point.
Jim Clyburn, he started off his campaign rally there. Rally. So like I said, so was Mayor Riley. He started off there. Wendell Gilliard, Lonnie Hamilton,
Robert Ford.
Robert Ford, Richard Fields.
Mm-hmm.
Every political politician, they started out right there, and we assisted them.
That's amazing. So I'll have to ask you, what was it like working there?
Oh, it was exciting to get to meet different acts of life or walk of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, being as a teenager, it was something, you know, more exciting. I get to meet different politicians and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to serve them.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't an everyday thing that
No, it
took
wasn't
her.
an everyday thing.
That's so true.
Yeah, I started working when I was in high school. I played football, I wrestled, but my weekends were right there. And
Yeah.
like I said, we met a lot of politicians. I met Mayor Riley. He remembered me at the age of 10 years old when I returned to Charleston in December of 2010. He was one of the first people that I met and who remembered me since I was a kid. And, I used to sit behind his desk, my uncle, and he told him, said, hey, when I grow up, he said, I'm going to pass the torch on to you. He inspired me to do great things because, like I said, he did things methodically and everything was towards perfection. We couldn't shortchange ourselves.
Mm-mm.
Well, piggyback on that, a lot of that what you said is true, but remember, it was you, I, and David. We were there, all
Yeah.
three of us,
Yeah.
not just one. And all the things that you said is very well true. But the most important thing that he taught us is to be respectful and to treat everyone the way you want to be treated. And he used to
Amen.
instill that to us every time we would be there.
The
Every
golden
other
rule.
weekend.
Yes.
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 Like I said, we were children.
And take pride in your work.
Yes. Like he said, there was the three of us. Guy was always there. My brother, David, was just like our brother. And while we were working there on weekends too, Annie, our cousin, she was there too. So he had 3 children working every weekend,
Mhm.
you know, fulfilling his commitments. We didn't have a problem. We would get there. We would leave there sometime 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and be right back there at 10.
Yes.
Oh,
We got so many different. We may have 3 or 4 functions at one night.
Yes.
You know, in places like Father Clary Hall.
Yes.
And I was underage, but he had trust in us. My brother and David, we would drive throughout Charleston.
Yeah.
We would be careful, but you know, the policemen they knew us. They knew we were Ladson, so we were fine.
Yes.
So we had a little break, but they knew that we was on a mission and we were gonna be safe. We always took safety. He made sure that we did everything, like I said, towards perfection, methodically, no matter what it was, driving, walking, talking. We had to have respect, you know. And like I said, we were going different places, doing 3 functions at one time. And like I said, we all did it together collectively. Like I said, Annie was always there with us too.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about when the restaurant was at its prime and like around what time that was and what that was like?
Let's see.
I would say in the 70s, in the early 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
That's when it
was
was.
jumping.
Yeah,
It was jumping from one.
yeah. Like I said, I was in high school and even in middle school, and there I would listen to the radio there at Ladson House. So I was
Oh.
like, wow, that must be the place to be. I would go there when I get older.
And up to this day right now, you ask anybody about the Ladson House, they will tell you what great food and how you was respected.
Yes, there were a few other restaurants, but the Ladson House was exceptional.
Yes.
5-star, and the food was awesome. You can ask anyone that's living today if they ever ate there, they will tell you that was the best food they ever tasted.
And let me piggyback on that. I know y'all heard of Masalu Kitchen. So she came up under Uncle because she worked there
Yeah,
as a waitress in the
right.
restaurant, and that's how she began to have her business as of right now. Master Kitchen
Yes,
downtown.
several businesses throughout Charleston. The cooks started out at the Ladson House, and he helped them got on their feet, and they started their own business. But they weren't the same. I could assure you that.
Still not the same.
Okay. And I understand that you're saying that he did help a lot of people
Yes.
get their start in their own starting their own restaurants. But how about what else did he do, Mr. Edward, do in the community?
Oh, he would if there is anything needed to be what's the word I want to use? I know he would donate a lot, sponsor a lot towards the school, and if someone needs something to eat, he was always there to give that helping hand.
Yes, he was an iconic figure throughout the community. He did a lot of community service. He worked with the churches. He worked with all the politicians. Anyone that called him, he was there to help them. And he worked personally in the church, St. Luke AME Church. He was on the male choir. He had a very good baritone voice, and I thought he was amazing. He was an amazing person. You know, he inspired so many people. He inspired the community. He helped out his community. He employed so many people throughout the community, and the people around the community, which was primarily, you know, the Afro-American community. That's why I reach out to them so much, because, you know, without them, it wouldn't be us as a Ladson House, because they supported us, 110%. And, you know, there weren't any problems, you know, we didn't have any crimes. Everything was just working well because, you know, the type of person he was, the type of business that he represented.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any like historical event that stands out in your memory that might have happened?
Well, from what I was told by him, with James Brown coming into town, and also with Dr. Martin Luther King followers and Dr. Martin Luther King himself. So really, Jesse Jackson and President Jimmy Carter, and
anyone of political aspirations that came to Charleston, they did their business to go to the last number, because they know that was the foundation of the community. You know, we stand tall because our uncle he was exceptional, and he had such great ties throughout the community. Not only the Afro-American, he had so many prominent people throughout the community. You know, business people. Everyone reached out to him. Yes, and he had wide support. And Mr. Tommy Thornhill, that's the name that throughout Charleston. I met him a few years ago. He was a resident of Bishop Gatson. He told me, said they could not have function at the yacht club without Mr. Ladson.
Yes.
Mr. Ladson, he said, Mr. Ladson carried the whole yacht club. He said, without him, they couldn't function.
Wow.
Let me piggyback on that also, because matter of fact, it was him and I can't remember the other lady name, but it's the only two African American person that worked there. No other black person could have worked there.
Oh, at the yacht club?
At the yacht club. And they were the only two up to this day.
Wow. All right. Well, Miss Annie, can you tell me when the restaurant closed its doors and what you remember about that time?
They mostly closed because we had a hurricane, and the building got destroyed. In 1989, we had Hugo, and the building had been destroyed. That location, so he moved to another location.
Okay.
So that location on President Street was closed down because of the damage from the storm.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. And can you all share about Alice Warren and her connection to the Ladson House?
Yes. Alice came on board, I forgot what year it was. She was a head cook at Burke High School, and Uncle saw the potential in her that she could have been the manager because of his obligation of catering a lot of food for the Carolina Yacht Club and a lot of private. So he brought her on board and taught her what she needed to know.
Yes.
And that's how she got started. But she came in after our Aunt Ruth health started failing her, and Uncle needed somebody to take on Ruth.
Yes. Our Ruth
Yes.
Ladson was one of Uncle Spearhead Cook's head cook. She did exceptionally. But Alice, my uncle, seen the potential in her to do great things, and became one of the head cook and one of his right hand man. And I'll back up a little to describe the Ladson House. It was a three-dimensional restaurant. It had a snack bar.
Mm-hmm.
It also had a private dining room.
Yeah.
And it had like event center, a recreational center.
Yes.
So at any given time, there was three-dimensional
Going
activity going on.
Mhm.
Money was always coming in.
Flow.
So Alice, she was a lead cook, and Uncle seen the potential in her to do greater things, and he made her the lead cook. And Alice was wonderful, and he took her as an adopted daughter, and her cooking skills were awesome because she was from, where was she from?
Walter Bar. Yeah, Walter Bar, South Carolina. Yeah.
Skills, and so she brought it in, and Uncle taught her and trained her and taught her the aspects of the business, and actually he helped her in many I guess additional ways in the future. He really helped her out and got her started.
All right. What impacts of this important business are still evident today in Charleston?
Everyone that have contact with the last house, they're so speaking of it, the great times that they had and how they assisted them and helped them in many different ways.
In what ways do you feel you've seen Charleston change the most, and how do you feel about that? If you flash forward to 2023.
Charleston, more than anything, the diversity. Everyone seems to be working together, well together. And, one thing is getting a little too crowded, but
You said it.
I do, accept the fact that, we are a growing city, and I do embrace the change and the diversity, so it works well.
All right.
I'll go along with that.
One additional thing also we would like to say, we definitely would like to see that we have more Black-owned business. Seem like that's a dying breed, and we need to up our standards so that we can do greater things, and I guess educate the younger people, youth, so that they can have the inspiration and support them and give them the tools that we needed. But I can see a declining in the businesses, and it's not the same as, like when our business were up, that we try to excel to the highest. So we do have some Black businesses, but I think that we can have a lot more.
What do you hope for the future of Charleston, Mr. Tony?
What I would like to see from the future Charleston, I would wish there were many local business owned by African American, like my brother said, throughout the Charleston. And many of our young people continue to leave Charleston in search of opportunity. We need to provide more programs and guidance and to encourage young people to stay.
And I would encourage a lot of our youth to, enter into the restaurant, the culinary field, because it's really promising. And this is a great place for it. Charleston have a really, awesome restaurants. The food is really awesome here. And I would encourage our youth, and especially our Black youth, to get out there and, go into that field. They already have the skills.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
I feel like we have kind of an upper hand because you already have that. Well, if you learned how to cook.
But you know
Yes.
what? That is in our family, because if you look back from Uncle up to now, you, I, especially Kathy girl, DeAndre,
Mm-hmm.
that, all that is lined up right along what we just spoke about.
Inherited.
Inherited, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have a great inheritance of many different skills. But one thing I can say about Charleston for itself, Charleston is a beautiful place, one of the most beautiful places in the world. I've been all over the world, and I've never seen a place like Charleston. Have great food, great people, great activity. So like my brother said, if we can keep our people here, our youth, I know a lot of times they want to venture out to see what is out there. But I've been all everywhere, and you got everything here. It's not on a greater scale, but I mean, you have everything here if you really research and try to,
Yes.
use what you have. This is a great place right here.
So just go out, see the world, and come back.
Yes.
Share with
Bring
us
it back what you
Charleston.
bring. That's right.
That's right. Always. It's always good to give back.
So the business was, he went strong for 22 years.
Mhm.
That's for 22 years he did it.
And one thing we can say, nobody could have touched it.
No, he take pride. He take pride. He take pride.
And he instilled in us.
Yeah, he said, my name on the line.
And I would like to say this, if you are here, the young people say, it starts from Ronald, David, you are here, I say, and you hear Tori and Desiree and Brandon. You go out and they say something, I'm a Ladson. The logo is I'm a Ladson. When you say I'm a Ladson, that means it speaks volume, it speaks honesty, truth, it has a lot of volume behind it.
It takes
It
pride.
takes pride. When you hear them boys say, or them girls say, I'm a Ladson, do you know that's a part of 80 Ladson?
And one thing he instilled in us, the family.
Yeah.
Boy, my family, love family.
He loved his family, and he wanted us to be tight, just like how you grew up.
Yeah.
Yes, you and Tawana and Desiree and, our cousins aren't cousins. We brothers.
The sisters, that's right.
Yes. And that's how it came from him, and that's what he instilled. And that's why our family have such a strong bond,
That's so
every family have their little problem,
Special.
even our family, but we know how,
We work over that. Mhm.
we built up.
And you're
Very,
right.
very special to be from Charleston and to have such a great family.
Strong ties.
Strong ties, you have the support, you always have the
Yeah.
encouragement, the drive
Yes.
to go on and do great things. So
I always stay to car together.
Eddie, that's the name. And my wife can tell you that when we first came to Charleston, and I went to look for furniture, Dixie Furniture was one of them, and we was getting ready to purchase furniture, and he told Mr. Skippy, he was the manager.
Yeah.
He said, "This is the Ladson, this Eddie Ladson nephew, whatever he want, make sure he get it."
The Engel brothers
Said,
too.
"If it doesn't work with this credit, make it work."
And that is true.
Yeah.
And that's,
And he said, I didn't have to worry about the credit, but I was good.
but yeah,
Yes.
it's another story. The grandmother, on Florence, she bought all the furniture that same house that we're in now. Those furniture came from Chase Furniture Store. You know what Chase was? And because Florence and my grandmother went there, and because they went to Chase, that's where we got our furniture from. And when I went there, just like Ronald said, the man at Dixie, the man at Chase said, "You're a Ladson? You kin to Eddie Ladson? You kin to Florence White?" He said, "Don't even check the credit."
The Engel
So
brothers
it's
too.
the name. Yeah, the Engels.
Engel brothers, they had a furniture store too.
So-
Everybody know it.
So
Mr. Lady Ladson.
So, Mr.
Mhm.
Ladson,
Mhm.
what I like to say about him, even Mayor Rodney, okay, he remembered me at that young age. And he told me when I got back, he said, "If you need anything," he said, "I remember you, Eddie Ladson nephew. You need
Yeah.
anything, you come to me." And wherever I went, no matter what I tried to obtain, I told them who I was, they said, "You know what? All you got to do is say the word. You don't need to even run a credit." But
Mhm.
that's the type of person he was, because he helped everyone.
I'll finish up with asking you guys, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about that we didn't mention in this interview today?
Yes, well, I like to say that, that's why we inspire our youth, our younger generation. And even my niece Dosha, Tawana, and the little one, we try to protect and preserve our history and tradition so that they can carry on. So when we gone on the way, like our uncle, that they can carry on and
yes,
do greater things for our community. Like myself, I was inspired by my uncle. That's why I'm a community servant. As today, and like I said, I'm a commissioner, but every day, my wife can tell you, she was so happy when we went on the cruise because my phone didn't have service. So when we left Charleston, at least for 4 days, we was at peace. But when I got back, it started raining because she knew I was just like mom, just helping people every day.
yeah. That is, and I'll piggyback on that too. You're 100% right. I'm glad you're gone, but guess what? You gone, but I still getting people come to my house. Won't get in touch with you. So you gonna have to start paying me for answering this.
Well, thank you guys so much for meeting with me today. I have learned a lot, and I appreciate your time.
Oh yeah. Thank you for being
you.
the host. You did well.
Thank you.
Yes.